So that leads me on to something related to this, which is the idea of behavior versus intention. Why do people do what they do? Right? Do you think there's such a thing as random acts? Do people act randomly? There is nothing random that a human being does. It may seem like it's random, but it's only because we don't understand the motivators behind it. Does that make sense? Now, everything people do has an intention. There's a reason for it. We're trying to achieve something. There's a purpose. Now, the thing that, I don't know if this is true or not, but if you consider it as true, I actually do happen to believe it's true, but if you act as if it's true, it actually gives you a lot of scope in terms of working with people. And the idea is this. What if every behavior didn't just have a purpose, but ultimately had a very positive purpose? In other words, something positive for that person. So even a negative behavior, which may have a low-level negative purpose, for example, I'll wake up, I'm angry at my brother, and I go and kick him. Okay? It's satisfying in the moment. The purpose is to cause him pain, right? But is that really my purpose? What is the purpose I have? The purpose is for me to start feeling good again, right? Now, yeah, thank you. So just go and kick more people and you'll be fine. This is the same way. The key here is, don't look at the low-level purpose. You've got to find out what's behind the whole thing. Is it? Would you say, generally speaking, is it bad to cause another human being pain?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Is it a bad thing to want to feel better about yourself? Is it a bad thing?
No.
So if I went and kicked my brother, then really the behavior is not good. But the intention, the ultimate purpose of it is, now it may not actually make me feel any better, so it may not actually work, but the behavior is still being driven by a desire to feel better. So the intention's okay. The intention's good, it's to be encouraged. It's just the behavior that it ends up having or gets stuck on, that's the bit that's no good. See how that works? And of course, there's a corollary to that, or a thing that happens as a result. If I'm kicking my brother, but I'm not actually satisfying my real intention, which is to feel good about myself, then I have to keep kicking him, because I get stuck in a pattern. I'm thinking, I just have to kick him harder, or more often, right? You've been there, right? You've been there where you think, if only I do more of this, if you can have more of this, wider, longer, bigger, whatever, then I'll be happy, then it'll work. So you get stuck in this loop where you do more of a destructive behavior, thinking at some level that it'll get you some positive intention, when of course it doesn't. And that's what creates one of the negative behavior loops. So whether people come to you feeling bad or doing something they don't want to do, at some level it's still the same thing. See how that works? But we have an advantage here. If I then somehow figure out at the level of the behavior, so whatever's causing me to keep kicking my brother, that actually to start feeling good about myself, I have, say, 5 other options, or another, say even one other option, that actually works. Right? Let's say I realize that I can call my grandmother and have a chat to her for 5 minutes, and I now feel great. Right? And I know this in terms of my emotional experience, I can anticipate this. What do you think is going to happen? Will telephone over here, brother over there. Does my hand lift or does my foot? Which do you think is going to happen? The hand, right? Why? Because it's now satisfying the actual intention. And it's actually doing a proper job of it. See how that works? So we want to separate intention from behaviors, partly because a lot of people do messed up things, and if it's happened to us, and it's going to definitely happen to your clients. And if you understand the difference between intention and behavior, you can actually help a client understand that they don't need to hold on to a lot of these things, the fear, anger, all these other things, because ultimately, the other person's maybe trying to do something positive for them. It's just a really got a screwy way of doing it. They're just not being very smart at some level. So it's not personal anymore. And the problem is that when people take things personally, that's what is where they start not being able to change properly. Go ahead.
So you're saying if you use the anger to call your grandmother instead of kicking your brother, in other words, you sublimate it into calling your grandmother instead of kicking your brother, the anger that is diffused and is that correct?
Well, in this case, it would be if the anger is generally triggered by a desire to feel better about myself rather than something else. So it really depends on what the intention is. That's what it goes back to,
Okay.
right?
Got it.
So I guess what I'm saying is it's a simple thing. You may have heard of this before. What you resist will persist. What you accept, you get the power to transform. Now, people resist their fear, don't they? Sometimes they resist their anger or other things as well, but if you resist the emotion, you resist what's going on, you have no hold over it. If you accept it, but understand it at the same time, you can go and say, hey, hang on a second, sure, the behavior's there, the emotion's coming up, but what is it you're really trying to do? What's the anger there to do? It's there to protect a boundary, right? So now I can actually turn around and say, does kicking my brother help protect the boundary? No, he's bigger and stronger, he's going to kick me back, so my boundary's going to be crumbling, right? And besides which, he didn't even start anything. So now the intention of keeping my boundary, if you like, protected, actually might be what better served by me feeling good about my brother and actually getting his good books, because he's then going to take care of those school bullies for me some other time, right? Do you see how that transforms the whole experience? And this is what we're here to do. We're here to not reject anything that someone has, and not put a label, that's good, that's bad. It's to accept it at a level you can accept it, enough that you can transform it into something that's useful for that person. Does that make sense? And exactly. So the comment here was, you want to get the intention behind it so that you can then release the behavior or the consequences of that intention and actually create something better in its place.